Hello, everybody. We're back. We're back. Can you hear me okay? I didn't get a mic set. The investigators are back at the home where Quentin Simon was last seen. You can hear the sound of a pump running. It's very clear they are draining the family's backyard pool. There are at least 11 police cars here. Can you hear me now? Hey, can you guys hear me better now? Hello? Okay. There, I turned this sound down on Twitter. Sorry, Charlie. Charlie said, "Where's the music coming from? It's distracting." That's just music that plays at the beginning while people are getting settled in. And then that background noise is a pump. It's a pump in the backyard of Quentin Simon's home. That video on the screen, there's 11 cars there. Investigators are there. And they are pumping the pool. Not sure what is going on. And then in a few moments, there's supposed to be a press conference. And it looks, I have Chatham County Facebook pulled up, FBI Atlanta Twitter, Brett Buffington's Twitter. That's what I'm on right now. He is the man. He is the JD Buono of this case. He's the Nate Eatonton of this case. You're welcome, Charlie. Are you new here, Charlie, or have I just not seen you in a while? Well, if they're draining the pool, I mean, this isn't like an Adventures with Purpose type of thing where they got to go out in a boat. They might be looking for something else in there. They checked the pool the day they were there. So why are they draining the pool today? I mean, they knew there was a pool. You're definitely going to go when you're looking for the child when they were there on last Wednesday. They've been to this house several times. So why are they draining the water out of the pool? Hey, Jennifer. Liza said forensics. Kat said maybe something in the pool filter. They've been swimming in the pool. Blood evidence? I don't know. Hi, Mallory. I mean, they would obviously see Quentin floating around in the pool, but for whatever reason today, I don't know. And we have a press conference coming up. So we have about 12 minutes. Hello, Jeep Chick. I don't even know how deep the pool is. I mean, these officers are going to be like 6 foot tall. So even if they have an 8-foot deep end, they're really not going to need any gear to jump in there and find Quentin. I don't think they're looking for Quentin. I think it's something else because they're draining the whole thing. Oh, Mallory, I did. I heard that Cassie Carley, the cause of death has been undetermined. Now, that is insane. Yeah, all the pools are clear here too, unless you just haven't treated them. Super clear here because it cooled off. They got cloudy. Steph B said, why would they drain it? DNA? That's what I'm wondering. Beck B said, maybe filthy pool. Well, if it was the family draining it, I would guess it was pool day and they're getting it winterized for the winter, but it's the police doing it, according to Brett Buffington. He said, investigators are back at the home where Quentin Simon was last seen. You can hear the sound of a pump running. It's very clear they are draining the family's backyard pool. There are at least 11 police cars here. I can see them all lined up. I mean, I think it goes without saying that he swam in the pool quite often. So did Zane. So did all of them. That here's a better look at the pool. Maybe this will help a little bit, give us kind of an idea a little bit. I mean, it's a big pool. It's a big in-ground pool. They might be looking for something a little more than just because they know he's been in the pool. I don't know. Yeah, guys, this isn't regular pool maintenance. Not that I would put it past anybody, honestly. This is, there's 11, I think they said 11 cars there. And they said, Brett Buffington with WSAV said it's quite clear that they are draining the family pool. Sal 80 said something in the drain. Do you think it's fiberglass, Bob, or do you think they've actually cemented this thing in with like a separate liner? I was just curious. Does anybody know for sure where the presser is streaming from? Because I'm not going to miss a minute of it. Just me. It looks concrete to me too. Looks like they put the sidewalk in after. Because I've got FBI Atlanta pulled up on their Twitter. I've got WSAV pulled up, Brett Buffington. You know Brett Buffington's going to be there. He's going to stream it one way or another. You know Brett Buffington's not going to miss anything. You know what? I don't know if they cover their pool in the winter or not. Some people don't. Particularly in warmer climates. Hey, Nella Bella, is it going to be on their website, their Twitter, or their YouTube? Because there's nothing scheduled on their YouTube. Let me look again. I would think on their Twitter. I have the Facebook pulled up for Chatham County. Am I saying it right now? Jules, Brooks, did you get the list of stations I sent? Yes, they're all pulled up, my friend. So it's at the police headquarters. I'm not at the police headquarters, so I just need to know what news station is putting it up. Is it going to be on their Twitter, their Facebook? With my luck, they'll all start using TikTok or something. I know this Brett Buffington guy, he has been all over it. Man, he's like Nate Eatonton or is it, and Justin during the Vallow case. Well, they're still on it. WJCL, I think I've got them pulled up too. Yeah, I don't think all those cop cars are there testing the alkalinity of the pool. WJCL, are they streaming it from their website, their YouTube, their Twitter, Facebook? With all the technology that we have in 2022, it makes things more complicated. Used to be you'd get the remote control and you turn it on, and every station was blasting whatever was the local hoopla, you know what I mean, or nationwide. Now you got to track it all down because there's so many different platforms. I wish we could get it narrowed down. It would make things easier on Brooks. Well, it's 12:56 here, Central Time. I'm on Tulsa time. But I'm never late to anything. It's weird. So 2 p.m. Eastern. So we have 4 minutes. Brett Buffington is still looping the swimming pool situation. FBI Atlanta doesn't have anything yet. Let me go to media. Not yet. Not yet. Chatham County, WSAV. I've got their website and their, because Brett Buffington works for WSAV. There's another Twitter account. WJCL, I've got that pulled up too. Someone said their Facebook, it's going to be on their Facebook. What is this? Watch on demand, WJCL. Let me see.
Hey, it's your skin. I crave taking control of this acne. CeraVe Acne Control Cleanser.
Keeps showing me an ad for CeraVe. What are you trying to tell me? Eleven Alive, they are covering something else from what I was gathering. What are you vacuuming, Slim? Your swimming pool or your floors?
Clogs pores and prevents new acne, while 3 essential ceramides and CeraVe help maintain my natural barrier. So now we're in control of our acne. CeraVe Acne Control Cleanser.
2 Morning News. See us now.
Right now on WJCL 22 Morning News, the search for a missing toddler
Okay, WJCL on their website, they don't have anything live.
intensifying. The child.
So let me go back to Facebook. Well, we got 1 minute, so either Brett's going to have it. Or not on there yet. Nothing on. Yeah, I looked at WJCL. I've got a lot of faith in this Brett Buffington. He hasn't missed anything. Live on Facebook. Okay. I'm going to pull up another tab. I've got a ton of Facebooks open. So I'm going to put in WSAV. And it's on.
As we continue our search for Quentin Simon, I want to update you on our aggressive efforts to find him. I want to assure everyone that we are continuing to use every investigative resource available for us to locate little Quentin. We have conducted multiple interviews, executed multiple search warrants, and we've canvassed numerous specific geographic areas. The day Quentin was reported missing, we requested the assistance of the FBI. They responded immediately and have been on the scene with our officers since that time. Today, there are more than 40 FBI agents and personnel on the ground in Chatham County working with our department to find Quentin. This includes all agents assigned to the Savannah and Brunswick resident agencies and professional staff, agents from other FBI offices, including members of the Child Abduction and Rapid Deployment Unit, and other subject matter experts. They have been continuously working with Chatham County Police Department for the last 5 days. We believe with the continued assistance of the FBI, we will have a resolution to this case. We understand that people far beyond Chatham County have become emotionally invested in this incident and the search for Quentin, and they want answers. We are committed to finding those answers, and we are committed to finding Quentin. With that said, I'll be happy to answer a few questions if you have.
This has been going on for about 5 days now, and I think everybody is kind of moving towards worst case scenarios. At what point, do you say that there's some criminal aspect to what's going on?
Yes, and that's a very good and that's a very fair question. We're looking at it from multiple fronts, and one of it being a criminal investigation, as well as a missing child at this point. We don't have anything confirmed, so we can't say anything absolutely. But it is fair to say that, our efforts and the cooperation with the FBI and them providing an abundance of resources to us that we are looking at the criminal investigation aspect of it as well.
Chief, how are you looking at the criminal investigation? Like, what people are you looking into? Is it turning towards family members or?
Everybody is being looked at. Everybody is being interviewed. Everybody that had contact with Quentin in the most recent time of his disappearance is being looked at, is being interviewed. And that's an enormous amount of work, obviously, that takes. And we are continuing to do everything that we can do to gather evidence if it's there. We have to follow, obviously, an investigative process. We have to follow the law. We have to get search warrants. I know there's a lot of interest out there and probably some chatter of why haven't you done this and why haven't you done that? Well, we have a constitution to follow. We have the law to follow because we want to make sure we get it right. We want to make sure we do this as professionally and as expertly as we can. So if, and I say if, we have to prosecute anyone in this case, that we've done it right. That we don't lose evidence in an evidentiary hearing or anything like that. So we continue to work diligently, but we're going to work within the framework that we have to work in.
And what are the updates in the areas being searched? Where is it gone from, and where are you searching now?
Well, we went back today and researched the home in which he was last at. Trying to redouble our efforts and to kind of scrub, no pun intended, scrub the area and make sure that we didn't miss anything.
We saw FBI agents outside the home. What was the purpose of them being there?
They're there to help us. It's a Chatham County Police Department investigation. They are here in a support role, and I can't thank them enough. You don't bring 40 people and some from all over the country without an enormous amount of effort and expense. Those agents left their homes and left their families to come here and help Chatham County look for little Quentin, and I can't be any more appreciative of that.
Chief, we followed up a records request for the 911 call. For the body camera video from that initial response, it was denied today. Originally, they said it was because this was a criminal investigation. The county attorney kind of backtracked and then gave us the law that you usually use in a criminal investigation. Why don't you want that out there? Why don't you want the public to hear this mother call 911?
We have to protect the integrity of the investigation, and that's first and foremost. I certainly understand people's interest in this case, your interest in this case, and I can appreciate that. But my responsibility and our responsibility is to do a professional investigation, that we don't do anything that impedes that we don't do anything that tarnishes the integrity of the investigation. And that's my sole responsibility for that.
Have any of the family members, are they still being cooperative, especially this mother? And have any of them told you that they don't want to talk anymore because they got lawyers?
I can't answer that question.
Chief, where are Leilani and Daniel right now? They are the parents and the boyfriend of this young boy, but we haven't seen them pleading to the public for help. Mm-hmm. Where are they right now?
I don't know where they are currently at this time. I do believe they've been staying at the residence, but I don't physically right now, as I'm talking to you, I don't know where they're
at. Do you know why it is that we have not seen them? They're not talking to us. They're not pleading to get their child back.
I don't have an answer for that.
There's an increase of activity in the area this morning. We saw Chatham County Fire, FBI at the house, a couple of looks like unmarked police vehicles. Is there a reason for increased activity today after kind of a drop off, at least at the house over the weekend?
As I just stated earlier, we were searching that residence again this morning.
I have a quick question for you, Chief. At this point in
your
investigation, I know you can't speak specifically, but in cases like this, so you exhaust your first search, and now you're back into researching some of those, you said, targeted areas over the weekend. What happens next if no one's giving you tips, if there's no piece of evidence that changes this case? How long do you exhaust this, and then what do your investigators do after today?
Well, after today, I anticipate us working at least throughout the week. At some point, if I'm following your train of logic, that we may have to sit down and reevaluate where we're at. If we've exhausted everything that we think that we can do, if we ask ourselves that question and we think there's nothing else for us to do at this moment, then we got to sit down and reevaluate. But we're a long ways away from that.
And just from the start of the process of the investigation, now going on to Monday, do you feel like you all have gotten further along in the process of coming to some sort of conclusion?
I do.
Do you have, what makes you believe that, if you don't mind me asking?
I can't get any specifics of the case.
How you guys doing? I mean, this has got to be exhausting. You can tell that you look tired. I mean, how are you investigators doing? This is a tough case.
Thank you. Thanks for that question. I appreciate that. They're tired, but they're determined, and I couldn't be any prouder of them. They have worked 18-hour days since last Wednesday morning, along with the FBI and everybody else. I mean, they are all hands on deck. They are committed. They are working hard to try to bring a resolution to this case and find little Quentin. So, but thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Springboard off of that, that sounds like you're stating out here saying that you guys will find out.
I believe we will. I do.
Chief, you set up a tip, or your department set up a tip number over the weekend. Have y'all received any tips from it so far?
I believe we've received some, but we have to verify those, whether or not they're accurate, whether or not we can, follow up on any of that information. I don't have anything of substance. So I got one more question from you. And then
Yeah, actually, the words right out my mouth.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for asking about our detectives. And I promise when we get something to report, we'll report it back out to you. Thank you so much.
Let me ask you just one more question. Has there been any contact with Quentin's biological father?
We have had contact with him, yes.
Is he at all, is he a suspect in this case? Has he been cleared?
He's not a suspect in this case.
Got it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we got a totally different chief today. We were talking about that in the last show. I don't expect them to come out of the chute and go, we already know what happened. We can tell you. We can already tell you. But so last week the chief was like, well, right now we don't have any evidence of foul play. This morning he was super frustrated in the news clip we showed, and this afternoon he just looks a little pissed. So he said day one they called the FBI. Well, that tells me a lot. 40 agents are there right now to find a resolution. Then he says, looking at multiple fronts, and criminal is one of them. And I don't know if he follows Ronnie Lawson on Twitter, but he said everyone's a suspect. FBI gets involved in every missing child's case because they have the Child Action Rapid Deployment, I think is what it's called. It's the CARD unit, to rule out an abduction, which they did, obviously, because there's no Amber Alert in the state of Georgia for Quentin Simon. He, of course, answered, about the Freedom of Information Act and went into protecting the integrity of the case. I love how he threw out the Constitution, and he smirked when he did it. That was a good one. Well, why can't you just? He was like, I know you guys are going to ask why we aren't doing this. He's like, we have a Constitution. We may have to have a conference about evidence. And if we just went in there and started getting pool samples, they might throw it all out. And that might be our whole case. Our whole case might be on that one thing. That's the nail in the coffin. But if we didn't do it right and we didn't follow the Constitution, then we got a big problem. Those founding fathers of us made this a little sticky. So then he says he doesn't know where old Leilani and Danny are. Then he goes, physically right now, no, but they've been staying at the house. Yeah, dude, you know where they're at. So after they've exhausted their efforts, then they will, I guess, figure something else out. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm going to put the link up if anybody wants to come up. You know, that Constitution gets in the way. Or they could do it the Truckee way. Why don't they just do it the Truckee way? And just say, well, we don't have a body or anything, but sounds like an accident to me. Yeah, he looked like he was spitting nails. And I bet his investigators, I'm sure they have all sat down and gone over their interrogation videos over and over. And they're going through everything Danny said, everything Leilani said. And they're probably just like picking it apart. You know they are. I mean, I don't even have to guess. You know they are. What's up, baby?
Hello, how are y'all?
Good. What are you thinking? Did you see the whole press conference?
I did, but I came in late. I didn't get notified that you were on. I was pissed.
That's okay. Pissed is the word of the day.
Right? I think they have a pretty good idea what's going on. It's not like the other pressers that we see. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't think he's clueless to what is going on.
Oh, hell no. It reminds me a little bit of the press conference we watched about Debbie Collier. They're just like, we just have to wait on some things. And, this could take a long, long time because, well, they're being lied to. If they weren't, they wouldn't be draining the damn pool right now.
Yeah, these Georgia pressers, they tend to go over really well. I mean, they're short, they're to the point, they're not going to give out any information. You know what I mean? But they're not clueless. That guy was up there. He was speaking.
Yeah, seems like they're on it. It's crazy how different states handle things, Like I'm not going to say in Oklahoma they're dumb, but I think they just kind of want to get things out of the way. So it's almost like they throw the whole damn case file at you. It's like look, here's everything. I got it. There's a few things we're not going to tell you, but it's all here.
Yeah, they're not going to show all their cards, but they have, I think this is probably going to be solved. I hope it's solved very quickly. And I really hope it's not the worst case scenario, although that's pretty much where all of our minds are. You want to hold out faith or hope, but it's really not looking good.
The only way, and I'm not trying to be crass, I'm not trying to upset anybody, that little Quentin could be alive because he is 20 months old. He does not have a credit card. He does not have a car. He doesn't have a cell phone. He doesn't have other, around, 2-year-olds he hangs out with, he can get with and say, can I borrow a diaper or anything? He is a baby. Is if somebody has him and is taking care of him. That's the only way. He cannot survive out in the woods by himself. I mean, I think the writing was on the wall at the end of last week when they were searching landfills, going through the trash. It was told to me that they even took the trash cans from the house, not the trash cans, but trash bags. They want to know exactly what kind of trash bags are on that damn roll.
I think it's interesting that they went to the landfills as quickly as they did. Is that common?
No, not at all. They must have come up with something. They must have got a ping in that area from one of their phones. Because, they don't just go and start draining pools and any body of water and start going through, landfills the minute someone goes missing.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then they mentioned that it was trash pickup day, which we don't know. We don't live there, but we've heard it. So,
yeah, you could see all the cans and stuff lined up and down the street. And if they mentioned it, there's a reason. It could be nothing. It could be nothing. It obviously was a little something because they went and they searched the landfill. But today, they're draining the pool. Now, I can just imagine Billy when she has to refill that pool and she gets a water bill.
I guess I missed that part about draining the pool.
Yeah, Brett Buffington has it up on his Twitter. Let me see if he has put any update up. He's the one that asked for the Freedom of Information Act, and they denied it. And the chief just said it's because, you know, the integrity of the case. Also, the chief used a word that we only hear in cases where they've just had it with the people. Aggressive. We heard that in the Harvey Montgomery case. We've heard it in others.
You know, I think the reason why they don't say a lot is because the whole Casey Anthony case, you know what I'm saying? They just didn't have enough. And I think that they are being, you know, doing their due diligence and making sure they get all of this right.
Yeah, he mentioned the Constitution. You know, we have to follow the Constitution. I mean, they'd probably just love to shake the shit out of Leilani and Danny and say, look, what really happened? Come on. Enough.
No kidding. They don't appear to be the upstanding citizens, right? It's not like they're out there always doing the right thing. And you know, it's like the question that was asked, how come, where's the mother? Where are they? Where are they asking, you know, for help and finding their son, their child?
Well, he smirked. I noticed, I was watching his face. When he was asked that, it peaked. I looked right at the screen because I was taking a note before that. And the reporter even said, you know, not addressing the public, not pleading for their child. And he kind of smirked. And that's when he got real literal with them. Well, I don't know where they're at like right this minute, but they've been staying at the house. I also want to know, it took about 3-4 weeks, I'd say, for the Wells children to be removed from the home, if that's in process right now. But he smirked.
That's a good point. And I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. I was cleaning the bathroom, so I didn't see that. I was just listening.
I agree. Just me. I wish someone would have asked about the other kids. Are they still in the custody of Billy? I'm not trying to make Billy out to be the bad guy here because she wasn't either home. She was in Illinois, but she is supposedly the temporary custodial, whatever you want to call it, you know, guardian right now. Leilani does not have custody, or else there wouldn't have been the order from the state of Georgia for child support. So anyway, I'm just wondering if the kids have been removed, how, if there could possibly be a criminal investigation, which he said is one of the multiple fronts that they are investigating. I'm just wondering how long the kids are going to be there. I don't think it's going to be much longer.
I still wonder why the babysitter took Danny's message. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, Danny says I don't need to come over. I wonder why she didn't immediately reach out to grandma like, hey, I just got this message and they said that they don't need me today.
Well, it could have been because it's 5:30 in the morning and she probably just believed what they said. But then again, she's been dealing with these people for quite a while. I think what struck her the oddest was that even if they have nothing to do, they still would use her. So I don't know. I don't know why she didn't get a hold of Billy right away and say, do you not need me today? Especially with Billy being out of state. I have no idea.
I just thought that was so odd.
And honestly, they could be draining the pool to see if he did drown in the pool, and then they covered it up later to see if there's anything. I don't want to get too graphic, what happens when someone passes away. And it could be nothing. They obviously think something went down because they're draining the whole pool.
Well, and she did say the door was open, so.
Well, and it's another one of those cases that you don't know who to believe, but you pretty much are suspect of anything that comes out of that house right now. Because for one, accidents happen. They do, but you don't cover it up. There's no mystery or suspicion around it unless there's something foul going on. Just like the Kylie Rodney case. Okay, she had an accident. Well, then how come nobody saw her leave the party? I don't get it. Summer Wells, people, there's still some people that are like, no, I think it was an accident, and they're just too dumb to know what to do. No, they know what to do. They know how to call. They've taken their kids to the doctor before. And same with this. If he did get outside and he jumped in the pool, why would these two be trying to cover it up? Even if they just weren't paying attention, I don't know. I don't think it was any accident.
I definitely, out of this case, though, I do actually believe somebody, and I do believe the babysitter.
Oh, I do too. I believe her. What did AP say? Kat said, AP, I'm inclined. Oh, Mary, won't grandma be in trouble for leaving the kids with the mother? Well, I would think she could be. I don't know what the rules were per se when she got custody. I was talking about a friend of mine who is raising her grandchildren, and she was made aware. There was no splitting hairs about it. She was made aware, I'm kind of rhyming here, aren't I? That she's the guardian, whether it be legal, temporary, whatever, and that her child is not to take any sort of custodial role at all, whether it be, I've got to go to town and get groceries, watch the kids, nothing. That not, especially them. Obviously, you can set up a babysitter. You can take the kids to daycare because you got to work. So I just have a hard time believing that when all this went down and Billy was given custody, that there was no conversation that said, now, by the way, since we found Leilani unfit, I hope you know that Leilani is not to be left alone with the kids until we get something figured out here. So she could. But now in the last show, I asked if that would be plausible, and some people said, nah, probably not. I don't know. I don't live there. I don't know how it rolls. I would just think that with the gravity of this situation, that she could be in trouble. Because if Leilani is not to be around her own children, and when she was, Quentin went missing.
So if grandma was out of town, I guess the arrangement was the babysitter comes over during the day and then leaves at some point in time? Or no? Or did the kids come to her place?
No, I believe the original agreement was before she left town, she had it set up with Diana, and I could be wrong. That Diana was supposed to have the kids 24/7. Now, obviously something changed because she was picking them up in the morning and bringing them back in the evening.
That's interesting. And I guess, did grandma know that that was happening?
It was per grandma because grandma has been through a similar situation many, many, many years prior to where she was fighting to get, out of her own trouble. And she basically didn't want Leilani to go through the same thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now. Sorry. I just listened to your show this morning. I remember that now.
And, you're really not going to find anybody with an impeccable background. There isn't going to be anybody in this case, like many, many others, that don't have any skeleton in their closet. So we're just having to shave it down the best we can. Eileen, yes. That is true. And I know a lot of people were kind of arguing about that over the weekend, saying, Grandma didn't do that. Grandma didn't do that. Now, when I did the first show about Quentin on Friday, I said, well, I don't think Grandma meant she was evicting the kids, too. I mean, I said it like that. I said she was just trying to get rid of Leilani and Danny. But, I mean, in her handwriting, because they put it on, they blasted it on the news this weekend. It's right there. I mean, grandma wrote it out. Billy wrote it right there. Not looking to be compensated. She meant like past due rent, because Leilani's not paying her rent. Danny's not paying rent. Not looking to be compensated. Just want them to move out as quick as possible. Leilani Simon is my daughter, 22 years old, with her boyfriend and 3 kids. They have damaged my property, and at this point, no one is living in peace. So it came out on the news that this had gone down, but we didn't see the actual handwriting where she says she wants them all gone.
That situation had to suck for her because she went to Illinois for work. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she couldn't evict them prior to having to go. So, God,
well, this was prior. This was prior.
Yeah, but the eviction couldn't go in that fast. Isn't it like 90 days or something like that?
Yeah, I guess it depends. I mean, some places, like if it's depends on what they're doing. Like if they haven't paid rent in 6 months, sometimes the sheriff will be like, well, I'm caught up here. I'm just going to go serve them a notice and give them so long. Because, it takes people a while to get their stuff and get out. But anyway, probably just taking a guess at this. With the repeated cycle between mom and daughter, especially, it was probably a scare tactic. Look at this. I filed this. Even if the sheriff had shown up, Billy probably would have been like, no, it's okay for him to stay. We worked it out. Oh, you're so right, Just Me. She said she doesn't want to deal with them, but left the babies to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm interested to know what type of work she does and why she would have to go to Illinois.
She's a pipe fitter. I believe they both are. They both were working on location. Oh, Lisa said the baby could have been put in there after it was searched. See, I wondered if Quentin hadn't been missing longer. But since Diana did watch the kids the day before, I think something happened after she dropped the children off Tuesday night. Because I honestly think that when that text was sent to Diana that morning, something very, very bad had already happened. I don't think the text was sent, then something went down, and then they realized at 9 a.m. that they couldn't find Quentin, and then got a hold of, it's on my news right now. It's on my TV. And then got a hold of Diana. Have you seen him? Then Diana goes over there. Danny's standing there and says, we don't want you to help us look for him. And then they call the police. I think when that text was sent, something really bad had already happened.
That's the biggest red flag to me, is that Danny didn't want her to help them look for Quentin. That's crazy. If it was my child, if it was my cat, I'd have a whole search party going.
Well, the whole thing stinks to high heaven. I mean, the entire thing. I couldn't believe the stuff that the previous babysitter, Jaden, was telling us on the show on Friday. This is such a long history. If Jaden knows that they were, I say they, Leilani, I shouldn't say they, Leilani, he didn't say they, Leilani, was giving Zane and Quentin NyQuil to knock them out so she could party. No way in hell would my grandchild ever be alone with Leilani. I would have a hard time just going to pee and coming back real quick. The kids would have to come with me.
Seriously.
There's no way.
And Jaden said he reported all of that stuff too, right?
Several people did.
Well, and I think too, with the babysitter talking about everything's recorded, she's got everything on video, she's got all of the text. I think she was building her case for Child Protective Services is what I think she was doing.
Well, I mean, I don't think she's going to come out and say that she did call or didn't call because she's got a lot of problems with them. But now she's got problems with the public. People are going by her house talking about Diana, right? The babysitter.
Yes. Mhm.
She's got people going by her house and taking pictures. She's getting insane messages. I would be more worried about the general public than I would Billy right now. I would come right out and say, yep, I reported this over and over. But nothing here was a secret because Child Protective Services were already involved and had given custody of Zane and Quentin to Billy. The question is, did they know Leilani was in the house? Did they know anything about these bruises? Because I would think they would, with an open case, they would want to check on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. How often and I guess maybe somebody knows in the chat, but how often do they make, and I know it varies from, states and counties and everything, but how often are they required to come check up on these kids?
That depends on the case and the caseload of the worker. It is a very, very convoluted and screwed up system. They don't have enough people. Beckby, exactly. Any person who is looking for a child would have searched that pool by now. I don't care how filthy that pool is. Leilani would have been dripping wet from head to toe saying, I've been in the pool looking for him. I look like Jo Beth Williams in that movie Poltergeist. I've been all over that nasty pool. The NyQuil thing scares the hell out of me when Jaden said that. The drugs and stuff don't even part my hair anymore because we hear it in every case. It was a given that they're into that stuff. It was just a given. And I'm not saying do drugs and be a mama or do drugs and be a daddy. I'm not saying that at all. That just didn't even faze me. The NyQuil that really upsets me the whole thing upsets me.
It's like a Casey Anthony Jr., huh?
I know. Mm-hmm. And I think if Diana did not go over there, I don't think they were ready to call the police. I don't think they would have called.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think the only reason why they did was because Diana was probably kind of encouraging them to, or you know what I mean?
Well, and I think if they didn't call, they know she was going to. I think it's very, very suspicious that they sent her away like that. I really don't think little Zane, thank goodness, saw anything because he would be, he's almost 4 years old, I believe. So, I mean, although he doesn't speak or, like we do, he wouldn't say, oh, well, I heard mommy and boyfriend fighting. And, he wouldn't articulate it like that, but he is verbal enough. My kids at that age, I couldn't get them to shut up. I was so excited for them to start talking. And then I was like, oh my God, they won't stop talking. So he can speak, but I don't think he saw anything because there's no way in hell Leilani or Danny, who was standing guard when Diana got there, would let Zane be alone with Diana. I just don't think so.
And you said it took 3 weeks before they removed the other kids from the home whenever the Summer Wells case was going, right?
Yep, about 3 weeks.
Dang.
Salem. Leilani was on probation. She didn't want to call the cops. She wasn't even supposed to be with the kids in the first place. That's another reason. That's another reason. Oh, Leilani wasn't thinking about, hey, you know what? My child had an accident. If there was an accident at the home. Here's the thing. When it comes to negligent parents, though, It's like drunk drivers, okay? A drunk has a wreck. The drunk person walks away unscathed. They're fine. Might be a little shook up, Obviously, they have big problems after that. But with these negligent parents, accidents never happen. It's always they are the problem. They're the accident. They're the accident. Every time, hands down. Have we ever had a case? I don't just mean on this channel. Can you think of any case? And I've looked. I looked many, many times throughout the Summer Wells case, which is still going on. No update in that case, by the way. Where there is a massive search for a child. The parents look suspicious AF. And then it turns out it was an innocent accident and the parents just didn't call. I can't find one. It comes up every time there's a missing child. Well, there could have been an accident and they just didn't call. They didn't know what to do. I haven't found one yet.
Yeah, that's the first thing you do when you have a missing child. I've been in the grocery store with my bonus daughter before, and she switched sides, and I look over on the side where she was, and I didn't see her, and my stomach just dropped. You know what I mean? And it's just because she switched, and she's on the other side. I mean, that's a scary thing, not to know where your child is.
Scares the hell out of you. Yep, happy August. None of them. None of them. I can't think of one. I can't think of one where we have seen a huge search for a child. I've seen several where the parents, they say, I think I use little Vady as an example. And there was another case outside. It was in Tennessee. What was his name? It was last spring, I believe. Oh, what was his name? Where they had wandered off in the woods and they got lost. They found them, within a couple of days, they were back home. Never have I seen a search where they're just searching and searching and searching. And, there was an accident. I've never seen it. Melissa Boyle is a new YouTube member. Thank you, Melissa. Make sure everybody in here is subbed and you have hit the sub button and you are reminded. Because days like this, you never know when we're going to go live. Exactly, Salem. People that care about their kids, if you have any sort of empathy in you, forget common sense. You call the authorities for help. Mary Glick, Casey Anthony. Are you thinking Kaylee had an accident, Mary? Because I think Casey killed her. I don't think there was any accident and a cover-up afterward. I mean, if you think that, you think that because, we'll never know. It's not like Casey's ever going to tell us what happened that day. She's going to stick to the whole, she fell in the swimming pool, George was yelling at her, wait till your mother finds out type of thing, and then she went and hit her.
So no one has seen Leilani. Like she's not done any interviews or anything. She's just nowhere to be found, huh?
Nope. And she stopped using her Facebook. She Leilani's still alive, but she's one of those people. She's a frequent poster to social media, but she's had nothing on social media to say about the disappearance of little Quentin. Nothing. Not a flyer, nothing. There is not one post on any of her socials about Quentin. Now, she can put stuff like this up before. She likes using the different filters and stuff. Like there she is. There's Leilani, pretty but psycho. She put this picture up of the LMOL, she calls him. This is Danny, love of my life. I think I have the initials wrong. There's Danny with Quentin right there. She'll do all that stuff. Not a peep, not a keystroke, not a nothing. Nothing about Quentin being missing. That burns my ass to no end. When these women are all over social media. Everything from, oh, I've got a doctor's appointment. Pray for me. Pray for me. Oh, I've got a prayer request, but I can't tell you what it is. That type of stuff. But then when something really goes down, nothing. Hadn't said anything about Quentin.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Nope. Now Billy's all over it. It's like Billy fell on the keyboard. And I mean, she's putting all kinds of stuff up there. She's like, we're not doing good. We're not okay. We want Quentin back. I'm pretty sure by now Billy knows this is beyond bad. She's got to know. She cannot honestly really think Diana has anything to do with this.
I still can't understand why Grandma went over there accusing her of doing something with that baby. I mean, she trusted her enough to watch those babies.
I think I'm just guessing. I think Angel brought it up, and I agree with Angel. I think she really thought that Diana would not say a peep. Nothing about their family, nothing about how things are done and things that she's seen. When Diana comes out of the shoot and she's on the evening news talking about how she received a text not to come over, how Diana thought it was odd because they use her whether they've got something to do or not, about how she was texted, have you seen Quentin? I think that pissed Billy off. Like, what is she doing talking to the news? Like, Billy was going to run everything, but Diana spoke to him first. I think that was going to be the plan. Not that Billy's in on this, but let Billy run the show. Billy's been running the show, right? But here's Diana, and she comes out and she says, they texted me telling me not to come over. Then they wanted to know if I'd seen him. I went over there to try to help find him, and they wouldn't let me. Billy knows how that looks. Billy knows that looks awful. That's the reason she jumped in Diana's comments Saturday night and said she went in and looked. According to Diana, she didn't. She was told not to. I think that really made Billy mad. And I think when Diana told her she was going to start posting flyers up all over town, that made her mad. She accused her of overstepping her bounds. And like Diana said, yes, I am just the babysitter. I am just the babysitter. I don't care if you're just someone that lives in the town. There's no reason not to hang flyers. There's no reason. It's crazy. It's crazy. Somebody asked if the press conference is over. Yeah, it is. And basically what the chief said, he looked super pissed. He just said that the FBI's there. They have 40 agents there in Savannah. One of the fronts they're looking at is criminal. Nobody's ruled out except, now this is something, nobody is ruled out except Quentin's father. So of course they're looking at everybody. They're talking to everybody. Nobody's ruled out except Quentin's father. Nobody. Now, why is Billy not ruled out? Billy was in Illinois. Why is her boyfriend, partner, husband, whatever you want to call him, Facebook husband, I don't care. Why is he not ruled out? He was out of state. He said everybody. Everybody. We're still talking to everybody. We're still talking to everybody. Nobody's cleared. Then he was asked about Quentin's father, Quentin's biological father. I guess it's Bubba. I heard that it hasn't been solved yet who Quentin's father is. We'll say it's Bubba. That Bubba is cleared. He shook his head. He's not a suspect. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. What about everybody else? Can I see some red flags, please? They didn't ask about Diana. They asked specifically about Quentin's father. I found that really interesting that we're still talking to everybody, interviewing, re-interviewing, but that one is not a suspect. So everybody's a suspect except Quentin's daddy.
So wait, so the babysitter is still a suspect?
They didn't specifically ask about Diana, but the chief did not separate Diana from the crowd he was talking about. I don't think she has anything to do with it. I'm just repeating what happened at the press conference. What did AP say? Jody Sue isn't even rolled out. No, Jody Sue's in this one too. The whole thing is nuts. So many kids in that same top family situation these days. It is. It's awful. I'm telling you, kids are the most endangered species on the planet. It is ridiculous. It's crazy. Well, guys, I'm glad you all popped back in here so we could watch the press conference together. It kind of seemed maybe a little mundane, but I think he actually had a lot to say. I don't think that over at the homestead, they're too happy about the pool getting pumped. I don't think they're too happy about Diana's live on Saturday. I don't think they're too happy about Diana talking to the news on different occasions. At all. But this is not going to go away. No way, no how. Even if it turns out that they hid him after the fact and there was an innocent accident, it's not going away. Somebody is going to hear clink, clink, clink. They're going to get sold some new silver bracelets and a new cell. There's no way this is just going to go away.
Do you think the babysitter did have a negative impact on the case for coming out and talking?
No.
No, I don't think so either. I'm just trying to think, could that potentially hurt the case? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if they think that her saying something publicly, I mean, the police tell people all the time, don't talk to the media, don't talk to anyone, because it does create a certain obstacle for them every time. Their own words can be used against them. It definitely can. If their story changes even a little bit, it can be used against them. So when, let's say this goes to trial, there's no way, no how Diana is not going to be part of this all the way to the bitter end. No way. But if Diana has changed anything anywhere, well, it could possibly go in their favor. But as far as hurting the case, I mean, it's not even a week in.
Yeah, I just meant like down the road. You know, I always think back to the Casey Anthony stuff because, you know, there were things that were missed or, you know what I mean? It just, I don't know. I just don't want that to happen to any other child ever. You know, I want justice for these kids. It's awful.
Well, the problem with that case was, well, I mean, many, many things. One, they couldn't tell the jury what happened to Kaylee. And the prosecutor, Jeff Ashcroft, he was going for the death penalty. He was very over aggressive and that's what he wanted. Jose Baez knew that jury was no way, no how going to give this woman life in prison, especially the death penalty, without knowing for certain what happened to Kaylee. And they even offered during the trial to Jose, all right, we'll do, I can't remember if it was murder to manslaughter or something like that. Jose Baez said, no, we want the death penalty, because he knew there's no way, no how with the reasonable doubt argument they would get it. That was the problem there. If they had done a manslaughter or something like that, Casey Anthony would be in jail. I don't care what Jeff Ashcroft says. That was his fault. Now, this case, shoot, it's so far away from anything. For one, they got to find Quentin. And Leilani's not going to help him. Danny wouldn't even let Diana come in the house and look for him. So we are way, way, way away from that.
And what sucks about it is they're in a landfill. Like, gosh, I mean, that's a difficult area to search. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Peas in a pod. However, Jose implied about the pool. Oh, yeah. That whole circus was wrong all the way around. That whole thing was awful, awful. All the way around.
Well, I think
Terrible.
that's why they take their time in cases now, because of, you know what I mean? Because of the Casey Anthony. They want to make sure that they can tell exactly what, when the child's found, if the child's found, exactly what happened, so that they have, everything that they need to build the case.
Yep. And God, that could take, years before they're ready. I was so mad about the Evelyn Boswell case. They had Maggie in jail for lying to the police. And it still took from when they found Evelyn, which was in March. I want to say it took like another 7-8 months to put murder charges on Maggie. I kept thinking, how the hell long? But we're going through it right now with Harmony Montgomery. By the way, that's the early show tomorrow is Harmony Montgomery. It's about what Teardrop had going on in his interrogation. But yeah, they want to wait as long as possible, because once they start that clock, everyone has a right, talking about the Constitution, to a speedy trial. You're not going to sit there for 20 years while they're doing their work. So, the hell? Who's talking out? I hear somebody outside talking. And Anthony got off. She did. And she's a private investigator now and a photographer and stuff. And God, the whole thing with that just makes me sick.
I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing whenever that verdict came out. And I was so disappointed and so pissed off. And it's not really went away. I'm still not over it. Especially when the jurors came out and they were talking about it. And they said, had they offered a manslaughter, had they offered a murder too, she'd be in jail. There's no way, the way the jury instructions were written, the reasonable doubt, we could give her what the state of Florida was asking for. There's no way we could, because they couldn't tell us how she died. They couldn't tell us. We don't know. She is a sick, sick person. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to run off here. Love chatting with you, but I got to get on with my day. So make sure you hit the alarm, the bell, the reminder, whatever you call it, because we have 2 shows tomorrow. Anything goes on with Quentin, like they find him, they make an arrest with anybody involved, I'll hop on and we will go live. So if you missed the press conference, just rewind back and you can hear it. I think they're all over it. I really do. I'm not thinking for a minute that they're not. He went from being overly professional to today he just looked pissed. So I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning. And if I miss you tomorrow morning, then I'll see you over in Discord or one of the Facebook groups. See you guys later. Thanks for coming back in. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Bye-bye.